Welcome back to episode 162 of the Disorganized Wizards Club podcast. My name is Alex. I'm joined as always by Adam.
Hello.
And Cam.
Hey.
And we're a group of Ottawa-based players that play just about anything and everything we can qualify for. We talk about decks, tournament stories, just about anything to help you and ourselves get better at Magic.
Almost certainly.
We back.
You're sounding a little hoarse there.
A little hoarse. Yeah, I'm sick as shit, guys. This cold's been kicking the shit out of me all week.
Yeah.
It's not been fun.
Hopefully we don't get sick now.
But
All of Ottawa is under the weather currently.
Yeah, it's raining here.
Raining onto the
January.
snow and ice.
Yeah. It's miserable. I walked to the gym this morning. It was not fun. It's just slippery, wet, frozen, raining.
It's been a crazy winter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Although,
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't been on the I've been gone for a month.
Yeah.
you were gone for a long time. I was gone for like 10 days.
First episode after 2 weeks off.
How were your guys' break? What did you get up to
2020.
over the holidays?
I was in Trinidad.
Ooh.
Yeah, how was that?
Good. Yeah, I just drank and read. Read books. I think I read like 7 or 8 novels while I was gone. That's all I did. Yeah,
Sweet.
I just checked out because I don't have a computer where I was going. So I just read. I didn't do anything else. Yeah. I don't have a computer. I don't have Discord. I didn't have games. I didn't do anything. I didn't play anything. Yeah, I just sort of checked out. It was actually awesome. Just drank beer and read books. It was great. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah. It was a really enjoyable time. But that's basically all I did.
How was your time back home, Kim?
It was good. Mostly just like hanging out with family. Went skiing for the first time in like 10 years, maybe more, since I was like 8.
Jeez.
So like I would snowboard before. I'd snowboard for like a long time, but we were going to like a small hill, so I figured I'd try skiing again. Went better than expected. I actually like didn't just fall down all the time, so that was a successful day.
Skiing's one of those things. It's pretty easy to pick it back up because it's not too hard to begin with.
Yeah, you say that, but like I believe it. But like I learned when I was 5, 6, and then never did it again. So like my body's completely different, like different proportions, different like.
Yeah, I guess.
So I don't know if like
Got a
the
whole new operating
skills,
system.
yeah, the skills of like doing something as a kid translate, but apparently it was fine. Turns out you just stand there and go down the hill. But I don't know, pretty straightforward.
It was weird though. I because I just was so checked out for so long that I just didn't play games or anything, and I just was so checked out from Magic, But then I realized Magic is such a sort of integral part of my life that a month is like kind of nothing in Magic time, but when you're so invested in it as a game, it feels like I've been gone forever, and I was like, oh man, can't wait to play again. And the first thing I did basically when I got home, well, besides like playing with my cat for a bit, was like I played some Arena after I unpacked and got everything set up, and I played some Arena, and I was like, oh yeah, never mind, standard's still the same. Like nothing changed. You know what I mean? I didn't miss anything. It was just gone for the holidays. But in my head, because I'm so used to playing enough Magic, watching all his coverage, being on this podcast every week, that I just sort of, it felt like an eternity. But really, like, no, it's not. There's nothing different. Like the only thing different really is for us to, talk about Beyond Death.
Yeah, to kick off 2020, we're going to be doing our top 10 episode for Theros Beyond Death. The whole spoiler came out yesterday, and we've compiled our top 10 list like we do for every set. Before we hop into it, though, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor for the first time this year, wizardtower.com. Check them out for all your Magic single needs. Pre-orders are live. If you want to get some of these sweet cards that we're going to talk about in our top 10 list, historically, we've been pretty good for nailing the good ones. So if we're talking about this list, they're safe. They're safe to pre-order. Get in on it.
Yeah, I think in the last year, what do we have? Oko, and we were like, if you don't pre-order this, you're a fool.
Yeah. Was Oko our number one card from Throne? Yeah. Man, we're so smart.
And then Hydroid Crisis before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it's like obviously, but we always try not to. Yeah, we always try to be a little more exploratory in our top 10. These aren't the top 10 cards that we think, or I shouldn't say, these aren't the top 10 cards we think will for 100% see standard play. We just think they're 10 interesting, unique, or fun cards, which may or may not have standard or Pioneer or whatever format overlap.
We fluctuate. Sometimes we do sweet ones, and we avoid the obviously powerful ones. This time around, we have some pretty obviously powerful ones, but I think they're all interesting enough that they were worth including.
Yeah, we tend to always stay away from removal. That's one of our... That's kind of an early policy we adopted in our top 10 list. We just don't put removal on top 10 because it's just not...
Yeah, it's just removal.
It's just removal.
It would take a lot for a removal spell to be like as interesting as other types of cards.
It's like Forsyth said, though, you can print like the most busted removal spell of all time. It's still just a removal spell.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't win the game. Like it's just a removal spell. Still just kills a creature.
Yep.
So that's why, you know, there's that famous interview, right, where he says like you can overshoot on removal, but anything else you ruin the game.
I wish they remembered that.
Yeah, no. Well, he moved to a desk job, so
And
that's when they forgot. And then we've had standard bannings ever since he left.
I see. They didn't get him to train anyone else. They didn't
No, apparently not.
phone him in.
Well, they got Peace Selly now, though.
Oh, true.
But I mean, that'll take what, years to take effect,
Mm-hmm.
basically,
Yeah.
before we see the
If any of
influence.
the sets this year are ruined, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah,
So,
like it's already right. When do they go to final printing though? Actually,
I don't know.
yeah, like I'm not actually
I'm
sure.
not sure how far in advance everything is done.
If any listeners know, let me know. I'm curious about that actually. Yeah, how far in advance they plan everything.
Yeah. Well, clearly the next set that's coming out of Korea is already done
Yeah,
because they're like already programming it into MTG Arena, and I'm assuming all the product is printed already, right? Because when does that come out? A couple months.
yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
you have to get a pretty good.
I think they
head
probably
start.
do 2 sets in advance or 3. Yeah, maybe. Who knows though? Because they probably test cycles for standard. Like I don't know how they do it. We got to get somebody to let us know. I'm sure Pete knows. I'll just ask him later.
Yeah. Well,
Do you want to
let's-
start with honorable mentions
we can.
or do
Let's
them
shake it
after?
up. Let's do some honorable mentions.
I don't care how we do it. No, yeah, let's do them after because otherwise we
Yeah.
give too much away.
Yeah, for sure. Let's
Ooh,
hop.
yeah,
let's
yeah.
hop into our top 10. Do you want to kick off the top 10, Adam, with this guy?
Yeah, sure. Number 10, Underworld Breach, which is a colorless and a red enchantment. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach. So this is kind of just Yogg-Will, right?
Yeah.
This is why it's on the list. We're just sort of acknowledging that this is cool, but there's a potential here to do fun things in standard. Like, yeah, in Legacy, this enables some storm things. In Vintage, it could even be, see some play, whatever.
Yeah.
But there is a chance that this does some cool things in standard too. It's a unique card. It's
Yeah.
pretty obviously powerful.
It's kind of like if you're playing some kind of low to the ground. I don't even know if a deck like mono red would want it, but like you could, I don't know, spew off a few burn spells you already threw at your opponent's face. Like there's some weird applications you could do with it outside of like just trying to combo people, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and also there is a chance. There's quite a few graveyard cards in red, which is unusual. Like there's escape cards that overlap with red,
Yeah.
red-black cards, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
So, and this card can potentially synergize with, a red strategy that actually wants to take advantage of the graveyard, which is not a typical thing you see out of the color.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool. It's an enchantment that enables something strange in red. It's just from a design perspective, super original card for red to have access to.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we're all on the same page that this card's probably going to see more play in eternal formats rather than standard.
Oh yeah, of course.
We talked about it a bit in the pre-show that Twitter kind of exploded about how there's turn 1 kills in Legacy with it, but multiple decks in Legacy can kill on turn 1. So
Yeah, it's not that
why
impressive.
are people freaking out? But
Also, I mean, Legacy is just a dead format, so whatever.
yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a cool card. Potential to be pretty busted, I think, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. Cam, you want to take number 9?
Sure. So number 9 is Nadir Kraken. This is 3 CMC, 1 blue for a 2/3 Kraken. And whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. If you do, you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and you create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token. So your sea monster gets bigger and bigger, more and more tentacles appear. It's just like that crazy scene from Pirates of the Caribbean.
I never seen it.
Really?
Nah, I never seen like any of those movies.
Oh,
Really?
a kraken comes out of the ocean, and more tentacles appear, and it hits a boat.
I saw the first. I saw the first one,
First one was really
but
good.
I stopped watching it because all I could see was him playing Hunter S. Thompson, and it just annoyed me so much.
Oh yeah.
Like the pirate he plays or whatever is just Hunter Thompson,
Mm.
and he says like, "Oh, I like." Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I think I read somewhere that he was like trying to act like Mick Jagger or something, but it's just Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's just the same character dressed as a pirate. And I was like, I can't watch this. This is like way too much. Like, I'm paying for past sins here. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do this.
Yeah, see, I hadn't seen much of Johnny Depp before that.
Yeah.
Well, how old were we when
I was
that
young.
first
I
movie
was a
came
kid.
out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Adam was older, obviously, because he's old as shit. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this card, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so it's only number 9 because it will suffer from an issue that we talk about a lot for creatures in standard, which is that you have to untap with this. There's no immediate impact. It doesn't have an ETB. And so in that sense, it's a bit slow. But if you do untap with it, the fact that it's whenever you draw a card, this like by default triggers once per turn. And if you do anything else, like if you cast a draw spell and you have some extra mana, like it can really pop off.
Yeah, it's just a single threat. I doubt it'll actually see standard play, but it's like a cool build around for protecting this. Play it and protect it somehow. You know, God's willing, still legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you play and protect it. I just think it's a funny way to design a card. It's kind of cool. Probably doesn't see play, but it's interesting as a build around for potentially just sticking this, protecting it, and growing. The same thing, and it's not on our list, could be said of something like Citizen Champion, right? Where you just sort of try similar. It's a classic similar creature in Magic that you're trying to stick, protect, and go all in on this one creature. And this could be one of those things. And you see that here and there, and you see those decks do well once in a blue moon. And I just think this is a pretty cool design as far as that goes.
It might also fill like an interesting sideboard space similar to something like what's the name of the 1/5 that makes birds? When you cast instants.
Murmuring Mystic.
Murmuring Mystic, right. So like it just produces a bunch of things to block with, like just a bunch of 1/1s when you do something else. So like if, as this set might make it, White Weenie is popular, they don't have a ton of removal. If you can play this on turn 3 and then just have an extra blocker every turn, like that could be a sideboard card that you want for strategies like that.
Well, it's also double blue for Devotion.
True.
Which is super interesting. And it lets you, if you're, let's say you're playing the Devotion deck and you don't want to commit a bunch of the board for Devotion, this lets you take an alternate win condition.
Mm-hmm.
So either I play out all my Devotion stuff and run you over with a Thassa or something, or you can play this and just sit behind it and force them to kill it. And if they don't have the removal spell, they lose, kind of thing. So it's like kind of interesting in that.
Yeah, it gets pretty big. Like you're playing it alongside cards like Opt or, you know, other cheap draw spells. Like this could create a pretty wide board pretty fast.
This could have been the double blue 2-drop, the 1/3 that scries too as 9th. That I would also accepted that as the 9th.
You're talking about, I know which card exactly you're talking about.
Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah, Thassa's Oracle. Yeah.
I would have also accepted Thassa's Oracle as 9th. Spoiler, it's not on the list.
Yeah. Thassa's Oracle, I think,
This
will
card's
probably
going to see play.
Yeah, it's going to see play. Like Pioneer as well. I think the blue Devotion decks in Pioneer were just waiting for a card like this.
Yeah. This card, it's not on our top 10, but in Pioneer, it's just, if Devotion takes off, this is part of it. Either one of these cards, this is probably more likely to see play in Standard, to be honest. Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah.
The card's very, very good.
Yeah, I like that card.
They're both cool though, for Devotion potentially. So
definitely. Next on our list, number 8, Thassa's Intervention. It's X, blue, instant. Choose one. Look at the top X cards of your library, put up to 2 of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order, or counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X.
So I really liked this card. It was one that like jumped out to me, and so I got it put on this list because it's like so flexible. Just being modal, it's like inherently flexible. In the early game, so like my thought process was, it's basically like if your opponent's curving out on turn 3, this is cancel. It's just counter unless they pay 2, which they're not going to be able to do on turn 3 unless they're casting a 1-drop, which if that's their turn 3, okay. On turn 4, it's counter unless they pay 4, which just hits everything. And if you're not using it as a counter spell, at its worst, it's like a Chemister's Insight, 4 mana, draw 2. You get more selection if you pay more, but the real reason that I like this is that Teferi has historically kept counter spells out of the format. And because this is a modal counter spell, it's not dead if your opponent has a Teferi. You just use it to draw cards at sorcery speed. So I like that this can fit into a format with Teferi in it, and it's flexible even in any format.
yeah, I mean, you can just use it to find answers to things on the board. You can use it to dig for a planner cleansing, you know, to answer that Teferi and everything else they've done. Yeah, it's sort of a fixed mix of Stroke of Genius and Dig Through Time too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you can you only ever get 2 cards, but late game, if you have like a bunch of mana, you'll get exactly the 2 cards you want, like a protection spell in your win con or something. Like,
yeah, of course. No, this card's very good.
Yeah.
I think this is just like a slam dunk in control decks. This card's going to see play throughout its entire tenure in Standard.
I like it.
Number 7, Adam.
Yeah, Treacherous Blessing. This is a black and 2 colorless enchantment. When Treacherous Blessing enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose 1 life. When Treacherous Blessing becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it.
Man, 3 mana, draw 3 is nuts.
Yeah.
A little bit of gain, a little bit of pain.
That's how it goes. Yeah. So
That's not true. It's a lot of gain, a little bit of pain.
Yeah. I mean, presuming, that you can get this thing off the board, and the rate is just unbelievable. Yeah, 3 mana, draw 3. It's an enchantment that you can cycle. There are numerous synergies in this set with sacrificing or trading enchantments around. So yeah, there's a lot you can do here for 3 mana, draw 3. It's pretty powerful for Standard. Probably not much anywhere else, but I mean, in Standard, 3 mana, draw 3 is just an incredible rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of cards in Standard that play really well with this. 4 mana Vraska, Doom Foretold, cards that already see play in Standard that would absolutely love to.
Yeah, I think Doom Foretold's the biggest one, actually. Because Doom Foretold, that deck runs out of gas all the time. That's a deck that just, can sort of flail because you're playing all these eggs that you're cracking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they take up spots in your deck, and you can just draw air, and you just flood, and whatever. There's not really like card draw built in besides the cycling rocks, right? Into Doom Foretold.
Mm-hmm.
So this helps you out quite a bit. I think it's really powerful in that deck. And the fact that, you just draw 3 next turn, play a Doom Foretold, sack this, don't have to worry anymore. Seems pretty insane.
But it is like, there is downside to it. You do have to, there's a deck building cost. As Adam was pointing out in the pre-show, you can't just jam this into a mid-range deck that has no way of dealing with it and hope that you can leverage your 3 cards in time. Because that's not going to work out. It'll kill you.
Yeah, no, you can't just slot it into mid-range decks. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the,
That's the treacherous half of the blessing.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the case with most of the cards on our top 10. They're not really just going to go into any deck. You kind of have to do something with them.
Yeah. There's also, what's that Orzhov removal spell from, was it?
Mortify?
No. Was it Final Payment? 2 mana, terminate, sack an enchantment or creature.
Is it an enchantment?
Or you pay 5 life, sack a permanent.
I think it's
just a creature.
I think it's just a creature. I could be wrong here.
Let's look at
Oh,
it.
it is creature or enchantment.
Yeah, creature or enchantment.
Yeah, Final
Plays
Payment.
pretty good with that too.
Yeah, that is actually interesting. I don't know how really. That's pretty nerve wracking to me, though. I would never play that in a deck where the other option is pay 5 life.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, I mean, if your whole deck's built, how much do you want to build around stacking enchantments? It's tough, but yeah, but in decks like Doom Foretold, this is just an easy upgrade. It's incredible. And Doom Foretold's already a good deck.
Yeah.
It's legitimately a reasonable strategy to take in Standard, and this is just a massive upgrade.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, I mean, Doom Foretold decks can gain life easy, even if it takes a bit of time for them to find the Doom Foretold to sack this. I mean, they'll be fine.
It can also be it goes away if it gets targeted by any ability. So maybe this ends up seeing play in some weird corner case where some trigger taps it and so it gets sacked. Something weird like that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see how people will make this work.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean 3 mana for 3 cards is worth, putting in a little work to make it work, I think. So,
I agree.
Cam, you want to take number 6?
Yeah, so this is I forget how to say this. Adam told me.
Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Dryad of the Elysian Grove, right? Elysian. I keep wanting to say Elysian. Dryad of the Elysian.
Could be Elysian. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce things.
All right.
We got to ask Rich Shea, getting mad on Twitter about dryads, He was really mad.
Oh, was he?
Oh, he was cringy, yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Dryad of the Elysian Grove. This is an enchantment creature, a nymph. It's 3 mana, 2 and a green for a 2/4. That's a lot of stats. And it says that you may play an additional land on each of your turns. And it also says that lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So you have 5 color lands. You can play an extra land. You have a 3 mana 2/4, which is pretty good. So this can lead to some pretty explosive starts. If you have some extra lands in your hand, you just play them out. If you have card draw funneling this, you can continue to play lands out. And people are probably just going to do some wacky stuff with it. Someone already dusted off their Niv Mizzet Reborns when they saw this card.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Get your Niv Mizzet Reborns ready. That card nuts. Yeah. Also, in the green deck, I don't know if anyone's played a lot of the green-blue ramp decks. They're pretty forest heavy. And it can actually become an issue that you don't have access to multiple islands per turn.
Mm-hmm.
And so this solves actually, like, this fixes some of the problems in the green-blue ramp deck.
Okay, you saying that reminded me that 5-mana Nissa is in the format. And if all your lands are forests, they all make double mana.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh, this card's even better. Bump it up the list. No, I'm just kidding.
That is wild.
That is actually
play this,
insane.
play a land, next turn, like land, Nissa, untap something, extra land. You have 4 mana.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can just go nuts with this thing in Nissa. The fact that it makes everything a forest for Nissa is just absolutely bonkers because we know Nissa's good, you know?
Right.
We don't,
Say you're playing like Temur Explosion. Now you can power it out with Nissa, tapping for blue and red, and it just adds a bunch of green too.
yeah, it's wild. Yeah, the card's insane.
Huh.
There's probably lots of other stuff I'm missing too that I don't even think about, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, even just the fact that in blue-green ramp, your Nissas now can, at least your Temple of Mysteries, also still tap for double if you have to
Yeah, true.
plus them with Nissa. Like, that helps a lot, you know? So,
Yeah. I sent this card over to former co-host of the show, Mike Brierly, when I saw it, and I was like, this card's nuts, right? And he's like, yeah, well, there's turn 3 kills possible with it in Scape Shift now, but you have to play like Arboreal Grazer. But I don't know. I think this card is good enough that it's probably going to see modern play too in different Scape Shift decks.
yeah. But then you're playing Scape Shift, so
Yeah.
it's like,
You win some, you lose some.
yeah.
Yeah, it's also got enchantment synergies. Like it's an enchantment creature. We didn't even mention that. There's various ways in this set and in old sets that matters as well. So
Yeah.
just
You
all
just-
around good card.
People just main deck and 4 Revoke Existence now. Return to Nature.
Return to Natures, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely like, if I open 2 of them in pre-release, I'm playing both.
Yeah, Revoke's in the format, which is super helpful. Yeah. I mean, Revoke just has to be in the format because you have to kill gods with it and yada, yada.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, number 5, we have Polukranos Unchained. It's 2 black-green legendary creature, Zombie Hydra. Polukranos enters the battlefield with 6 +1/+1 counters on it, escapes with 12 +1/+1 counters on it. Instead, it's a 0/0, so it's enters play with power and toughness equal to those counters. If damage would be dealt to Polukranos while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove that many counters from it. And for 1 BG, Polukranos fights another target creature, and its escape cost is 4 BG, exile 6 other cards from your graveyard. It's a lot of text on this card.
A lot of text, but this, like, what doesn't this card do? It's
That's everything.
large.
In
and
charge.
Then it's a removal spell. And then when it stops being a removal spell, it's even larger. It like draws itself again. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. This is maybe as far as standard goes, this is maybe the best card in the set.
I think that's a safe statement.
I don't know. It's like got to be in contention to, if you were a gambling man, to bet that this card sees some of the most play in out of all the cards on our list.
Yeah.
Like, this is a card that's just so obviously busted. It's an incredibly powerful mid-range creature that's good in every single matchup. It's good against aggro because it's massive and they can't get through it. You know, they're not going to be able to attack it or, you know, to lightning strike it and then move past it, right? Like they have to do, this thing's just a brick wall. It's a 4-mana 6/6. On the front side, in creature mirrors, it just dominates instantly. You know, the minute you untap with it, you're just going to start mowing things down. If they do kill it, well, you just bring it back.
As a 12/12. It's
as
so
a 12/12. So against control, it has built-in
big. Mhm.
recursion, which makes it even, you know, scarier that they have to deal with this 12/12. So yeah, this card's incredible. It's
What's up with pushed Hydras recently?
Yeah,
Like Hydroid Crisis, just card advantage and a huge body. This card advantage and a huge body.
I wonder if it'll be as good as the original was though in standard, because the original was
The
nuts.
original one was something else.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough to say. It might be better, to be honest, because you can keep recurring it from your graveyard.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Not to mention with how much graveyard synergy there is in self-mill that, you know, you can mill yourself and then if it's there, you don't even lose it, right?
Mhm.
Like you just escape it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this card is so flexible. It can just go into straight mid-range. Like those are the best cards in standard, right? Cards that can benefit from synergy, but then also just be mid-range and put into every single deck. Those are always scariest cards. Look at Nissa. We were just talking about her as a planeswalker.
Yeah.
Can just be put in any mid-range deck as a, you know, beat down green planeswalker. Remember when we first did that at the beginning of the format? We're like, wait, this card's busted. And it was just beating people down with it.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, well, it also is a ramp card. it also goes into all these archetypes, you know. So, but Polukranos does this too, right? I mean, it'd be number one if, you know, we were just going on
Just straight power,
safe
yeah.
bet power level. Like this card's just absolutely bonkers. Is incredible.
Another thing, like it's a legendary creature, but by its design, it doesn't really suffer from the legendary problem, right? Like you just fight things and then like say it's a 1/1. You don't care if playing your next 6/6 kills your 1/1 and it fuels escape for one of them.
Yeah,
Like the legendary doesn't really matter here. Like it naturally uses itself up so you can play another.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, people blocking is going to cause it to trade, but I don't think you care.
Yeah.
Yeah, card's very good. And it's cool. It's like well designed. Like it doesn't seem too pushed that it's dangerous. It's, you know, because you can still block and take counters off it.
That too, like you can still like kind of get your mana eaten if you like go to fight something and they just kill it.
And it doesn't have trample.
Doesn't have any protection, no evasion.
So it's pretty fair. Like
Yeah.
I think it's a great card. I'm pretty happy to see them designing a card like this.
All right, am I up for this one? This is going to be a lot of reading.
Well, you don't have to read them.
Yeah. Number 4 is the Saga Cycle. There's one in each color about a character or an event. Elspeth conquers death. Kiora bests the sea god. There's one about Timoret. The Akroan War is the red one. And the green one is about the first Iroan Games, the Olympics of this world.
These are the rare / mythic rare cycle, not the uncommon cycle.
And basically all of them are very powerful.
Yeah, they're all very powerful. Like the effect of each saga chapter is incredibly powerful for the most part.
I think the one we were most excited about was Timoret Calls the Dead. That one is 2 and a black. The first 2 chapters, you mill yourself 3. Then you can exile a creature or enchantment from your graveyard. And if you do, you make a 2/2 zombie. And then on the third turn, you gain X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. So clear parallels to History of Benalia, just a 3 mana, like a 3-drop that makes 2 2/2s. But in addition, because you're milling yourself while you do this, fuels all of these graveyard and escape cards.
Right, yeah.
Very strong 3-drop.
We were just talking about all the different, you know, I can get my Polukranos in there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the cards not on our list, but is an honorable mention, right? Ephemia, the Cacophony, right? This card benefits greatly from Timoret Calls the Dead. You know, this mill self-enabling, like, then that card's very good on our honorable mentions. That card's gonna see play in standard. There's just no, you know, like our honorable mentions a lot of times are just cards that are probably a lock as well to see play. And Ephemia, the Cacophony, plus Timoret Calls the Dead, you're gonna lose to those 2 cards
a lot
in standard. Like people are gonna be attacking you. Maybe the deck doesn't turn out good, but people are gonna try attacking you with those 2 cards. I guarantee you.
Even just like, it's like Timoret Calls the Dead, like it mills yourself so that you can fuel Ephemia, but then when it gets sacked after its 3rd chapter, it's an enchantment in the graveyard to fuel Ephemia.
Yeah. This is an incredible synergy here. It's going to make up a large part of standard, I think, is Ephemia plus Timoret Calls the Dead.
But yeah, Timoret's nuts. The other ones, I really like Kiora Bests the Sea God. It's 7 mana with parallels to Agent of Treachery, but rather than a 2/3 that steals something, you get a hexproof 8/8, you freeze their team, and then you steal something.
Yeah, no, the power level on Kiora Best of Sea God is through the roof.
Yeah.
Just like that, you get 7. I mean, again, it's the hilarious. Man, I love sagas. I'm so glad they returned to them. I wish they'd just ban Planeswalkers and only have sagas.
I agree.
I think the sagas are so fun because you get to, I think we've said this in the past about like Eldest Reborn or a few other things that imagine you just got all 3 of these abilities at once for 7 mana. It'd be the best thing you could do in standard. Make an 8/8 hexproof, freeze their team, and take one of their permanents.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's permanent too, not even non-land, you know?
Yeah.
Just take any. So that's for 7 mana, but it's spread over 3 turns, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, still the power level on Kiora Best of Sea God's through the roof.
Elspeth Conquers Death too. This is just like a buffed up Eldest Reborn, right?
Yeah, sort of, except I think the second saga's not great.
The 2nd chapter is really weak.
Yeah.
Eldest Reborn's discard on the 2nd chapter was like relevant. This one, not really. But
I agree. It's so one of the reasons I wasn't sure about this card, and there was a point in looking through the spoilers that I was convinced it was the weakest one out of the sagas. But then I thought about it. You know what card got reprinted that saw a ton of play when it was legal? Banishing Light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, it exiles Banishing Lights.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, like
Could have exiled Okos.
It exiles any permanent with 3 cost or more, which I mean,
And-
exiling it is good.
Right, it kills gods, which
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point, right? Elspeth
That's the
conquers
story.
Erebos, you know? But it also gets rid of a Pelukrinos permanently,
Yeah.
you know, and it does it as soon as it comes down.
Yeah.
Like, this card's incredibly powerful. Yeah. And the more I thought about it, it's like, okay, the second chapter is not that great, but I mean, overall, this card's incredibly powerful. And the fact that you can return a Planeswalker or a creature card is phenomenal for the last chapter. Yeah, it's just, that's a really good description of it. Just a souped up Eldest Reborn. This card's great. It's going to see play all over the place if White sees play for the first time in some time.
Yeah, that's the problem. White's just not good.
Yeah, but I think in this set, it's got some options like, Elspeth and various
All right.
other possibilities.
Do you guys think that they will allow people to make the mistake on Arena, or will they have fast tracked it so that you can't put loyalty counters on creatures you bring back?
Oh, yeah. I wonder because it says or, because you
Right.
could technically put a +1/+1 counter on your Planeswalker.
Which is
too.
fine. Some Planeswalkers become creatures.
Yeah.
But as printed, you could bring back a creature and put a loyalty counter on it, which would do nothing. So, like, are they going to let people misclick that, or is that going to be streamlined?
I don't know.
They'll probably streamline it. Oh, no, they won't. Not on Arena, but, I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting.
And then I think a Kronor is probably the weakest, but it is interesting and pretty powerful. Like the fact that it sort of makes them attack and then deals damage equal to their power. Like
It's probably the weakest, but like
the
It's
effects are powerful. I'm just not sure how they line up.
a Kronor is not far off a Plague Wind.
That's what I mean. Like I'm just not sure how you build your deck to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
And then First Heroic Games is also interesting too. The fact that it self-enables its third chapter is pretty interesting. It ramps, it provides you some mana. Like it's all the effects on the First Heroic Games are pretty small, but they can really snowball and they all just accrue like a decent amount of advantage so long as you can keep a creature in play. You know what I mean? Like it can do some work as far as green being grindy, which I kind of like.
And we discussed how First Run Games plays extremely well with Lovestruck Beast.
Yeah.
The 5/5 Beast itself enables Chapter 3, so you draw 2 cards. The first chapter of Aroan Games lets the 5/5 attack.
Yeah.
Most people can't kill a 5/5 or haven't been building their decks to be able to, and their strategy for stopping Lovestruck Beasts was to deal with the 1/1, so this replacing that is great. It's going to go into some nice green like beatdown decks.
I think all these will see play at some point in some experiment. You know what I mean? In some ways.
Yeah.
I just love to see him back. I would almost put these as number one just because I'm so happy to see Sagas back. I think they're so cool. I love the design.
They're great play
Yeah.
pattern.
And they're just a natural fit, like flavor wise for Theros.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess the next thing we had is my
Number 3.
We're cheating again. We keep cheating in certain things. This is old school strategy.
This
we
is a
hadn't
regular
cheated
REL
on our
podcast.
list for a long time, but now we're doubling it up because
Yeah, I mean, what do you want? Number 3 is the God Cycle.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible to really know where the metagame will go. But at some point, all of these gods will see play in decks. Like, it's just going to happen. I don't know which one will shake up, as the best possible one. But I mean, Heliod maybe because of Pioneer.
yeah, like right off the bat, I think Heliod's going to see the most play because of Pioneer specifically. I mean, everyone's already aware that it's infinite combo with for infinite damage with Walking Ballista.
I actually think they're going to ban it
Yeah, I mean,
in Pioneer. Like, I think they don't ban Ballista. They ban this in Pioneer probably. I don't know which one they ban, but it's a 2-card combo, and they've shown a pretty heavy hand on the 2-card Splinter Twin combos.
yeah, like sure it is mana intensive, but it's I don't know.
It still curves. Like the fact that it's a combo that curves is
Yeah, you just play this, and nobody has answers. What are they going to do? Fatal Pusher, Indestructible Heliod, Like, it's really hard for people to deal with in a lot of ways. So, yeah, no, it's obviously busted. But in Standard, I think that there's a chance all of these see play. I think Thassa and Perforos probably see the least because Perforos is kind of a combo card.
Yeah, Perforos, like you have to put a red creature card in or an artifact creature card from your hand, and like that kind of limits your options a lot,
Well,
right?
you can try and go for the triple combo breaker though, right? Because is Ilarg when he's cast or when he comes into play?
Ilarg is when it attacks.
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So you can Perforos into Ilarg into something else
Yeah.
all in one turn.
Yeah.
Like all attacking.
I
Because Perforos gives like Ilarg haste, right? Like, yeah, I just don't, but it just seems so unrealistic that it'll be good. Like, I think the only way it's good is if you're using the devotion part and trying to smash.
yeah, but
Yeah.
think of this. If you have a Perforos and a Thassa, you can Perforos something in and then stack your trigger so that Thassa flickers it before Perforos sacks it.
Yeah.
That's a deck.
But yeah, Purphoros is tough. But I think Nylea's pretty strong. I think Nylea is quite good.
Yeah, when it comes to standard, I think Nylea might see the most play out of all of them, just because it's green.
Yeah, and because you can go nuts with it, right?
Yeah, like cost reduction, like we talk about this all the time. Mana mechanics are busted. It's green. Green's
It's a mana
already the best
mechanic
color.
that draws cards and is a 4-mana 5/6. Like, it's not hard for these green decks to assemble enough devotion. They're already trying to attack. It does everything.
It also self-mills. If it's not a creature, like
yeah.
Nylea, in standard is probably Erebos is up there. Erebos could see a decent amount of play
Yeah,
too.
it's definitely between those two, but I think Nylea edges it out
I
just
agree.
because it's green.
And I also agree because Erebos is like pretty restrictive in what you can play with it. You can't just put it in, but Nylea you can probably just put in every single green deck.
Yeah.
You know?
I've already heard a bunch of people talking about Erebos seems to slot pretty quickly into
Cat
Oven because your cat gains a life, so you're paying 1 life to draw a card every time you sack your cat, which is a really good rate.
Yeah, and then you can also use your cat to start mowing down their creatures. Like, Erebos has some utility. I'm glad to see that it's not as powerful as the other Erebos, but the other Erebos wasn't even that powerful, really. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential with all these cards.
What I should say is I'm glad to see Thassa isn't as powerful as she was.
My God. Yeah,
Thassa was
out of control the last time.
Yeah, the first time we saw Thassa was a little too much. That was got to take it easy.
Erebos, I don't really know if Erebos is going to end up seeing play. Like, 2 life for a card is fine, but its activated ability is the one that counteracts its devotion clause. None of the other ones do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's why he lost.
Oh, true.
That's why Elspeth just walked away.
Dude, spoilers.
Is that what she did? She just walk away?
No, I don't know. I don't know any of the story. I don't know. She just stunned him and walked away.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, I'm in hell. It sucks.
Is there a door to this? Oh, there's a door to this place.
I feel like that's us in 2020 so far. Can I just leave? Like, is there?
This is a timely set for being Beyond Death.
Yeah, can we? Is that?
Can we check out?
Can we just leave? Yeah.
Wake me up in 2021.
But it ain't all grim and it ain't all bad because we got the coolest card in the whole set.
Yeah. Number 2, Enigmatic Incarnation. It's an enchantment, 2 green, blue. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another enchantment. If you do, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed enchantment's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
Look, man, I was wrong about Prime Speaker Vanifar, but I tried. That card did end up seeing modern play. It did see some play.
That card's sweet. It's awesome standard play.
And it did see some play.
This card is crazy.
It's way better than Vanifar. Way better. It's not a creature, first off. So it doesn't, doesn't just die to removal. You don't have to untap. It does it right at your end step. So you just need to resolve this thing usually.
Yeah.
You aren't gonna have removal, and then you can go crazy with it. I mean, this is a standard only card too, right? This ain't probably. I don't think this is. I don't know what kind of hoops you'd have to jump through in older formats to make this thing work. But man, is this thing sweet and standard. Like in our show notes that we make on Google Docs, I put like a paragraph like ranting about possible cards you could use this with this card. I think this card's so fun. It's my favorite card in the set.
Yeah.
It's so sick. You go get those spiders to fight like small flyers to fight an Ephemia if you want. If you have any 0 cost, but I don't even know if there are any. I don't know.
0 cost enchantment?
Are there any?
No.
No, you can't go get the spider. Dang. Okay, but I did have other ones on there. You could put in Mantle of the Wolf, which is hilarious. Because the one that gives +4/+4, and then when it dies, you make 2 wolves.
Oh, so you pot it away, you make wolves, and you get something else?
And you go get a 5-drop.
That's pretty good.
So you like play Mantle of the Wolf, attack someone for like a bunch, because it gives +4/+4, then pot it away, make 2 wolves, and get a 5-drop. So that's hilarious.
Yeah.
You can sack your Metamize Prophecy, which is my favorite thing, and the first thing I'm trying. Which is the saga, the uncommon saga. That's first chapter, scry 2. Second chapter, choose a card name. Third chapter, when you cast that card name, you draw 2 cards for that turn for the first time. And the fourth chapter doesn't matter because we're sacking it. It's look at the top card of each player's library. But it's a 2-mana uncommon, scry 2.
Yeah.
Way to turn, draw 2, which is pretty good. But in this deck, it's hilarious because we turn it into like, I don't know, our Dryad.
Yeah.
Right. We go get our sweet Dryad that lets us play extra lands. Or we can go get, there's no shortage of like busted 3-drops in standard. I mean, you know, what do you want? Like there's a million busted 3-drop creatures in standard. 3-drop has always been the sort of spot. Yeah.
We sack our Treacherous Blessing after we draw 3 cards into a Pelurikanos.
Yeah, that part, that's insane. You sack my Treacherous Blessing, go get Pelurikanos. Like, I think Enigmatic Incarnation's real. Like, I think this card's so good. Like, I think it just plays so well with the Sagas, too.
Yeah.
Because you can choose. It says Enigmatic, the wording on Enigmatic Incarnation is you may.
Yeah.
So you don't have to every turn. You know, if you want to keep your Saga around, you can wait.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the fact that this thing turns your Sagas and, yeah, okay, I don't want to use the last chapter. I'll just go get a 6-drop. That's insane.
Yeah.
The problem is going to be finding it, but I mean, there's various enchantment tutors, like Idyllic tutors here, but there's other ways to tutor things. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're just playing like a Sultai mid-range deck that just has card advantage built in, like we're talking about Treacherous Blessing, like you're going to dig through your deck, you're going to find these cards. I think there's a lot of potential here, and it's really sweet. I don't know how competitive it'll be, but it's definitely something I want to play.
it's just so fun.
Yeah.
If you don't want to play with this card, I don't know what to tell you. You just hate fun, I guess. Like, this card is so cool. It's hilarious. The fact that it's sacking enchantments to go get creatures is rad. Like, it's just such a unique style of design. Like, it's pod, sure, but it's podding your enchantments for creatures, which is...
If you have 2 of these, can you sack each of them to each other and get 2 5-drops?
I think so, right?
Well, yeah, because both triggers go on the stack, and then you can sacrifice one, then sacrifice the other, right?
Yeah, it seems fine.
Because the triggers are still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just can't sacrifice to itself because it says another enchantment, but
yeah,
you
so
can
it's not terrible in multiples.
It's awesome. No, it's awesome in multiples. You just go get a 5-drop. It sounds great.
Yeah, just go get a Cavalier Thorns.
Ooh.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's dangerous, though. We're going to mill all the stuff we want to get out of our library.
Even if we don't even have a Treacherous Blessings, we play Timurit Calls the Dead, and then we sack it when instead of scrying and gaining life equal to zombies, we just play Timurit Calls the Dead, which makes us 2 zombies, and then we sack it, and then our Timurit Calls the Dead turns into a Pelurikanos.
Easy.
That's nuts. Or you can play Bant versions where you're sacking, various enchantments, and you go get, Elspeth, defeats death. You can get, there's tons of different white, because a lot of the white cards have tutors for enchantments. There's numerous creatures that have ETB return enchantments from your graveyard, so you can start looping things.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch, man. It's, yeah. Even the Ephemia deck we're talking about, this enables it. You can, start sacking enchantments to continue, this will continue to help fuel your Ephemia, right?
Yeah.
You can just play like Ephemia, Timurit Calls the Dead into this. And that alone is like a 3-card engine that's going to dominate a lot of games if it's left uninterrupted.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like, it's probably maybe a little too dirty, but I don't care. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right, well, speaking of engines that'll dominate a game if left uninterrupted, our number 1 card is a 3-drop, 1 black-green, 3/3 Savvy Hunter. It makes a food when it attacks or
Get
blocks.
outta here.
Sack 2 food, draw a card. Coming back from last set.
Yeah, if anyone remembers, Cam made us put Savvy Hunter at number 10 of Throne of Eldraine, and we made a $20 bet that it would see, he said it would see more play than Bone Crusher Giant and make more top 8s.
I watched him pay you, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I paid my bet.
He paid me, I got my $20.
Before the season, because it was until the end of the season. And
Yeah,
he
I knew
paid
when
you
I was
before the
dead.
season even was close to
yeah.
finishing. There was like months left in the season. Kev's like, all right, I lost. But his logic was sound, to be fair, which is cards that turn one resource into another resource are generally powerful. But on that one,
Anyway,
our real number 1 cards.
we have 2 number 1s. These are the Elder Giants. So one of them is a 3-drop on the face. It costs 1 green-blue. This is Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. And then when it enters the battlefield, you sacrifice it unless it escaped. They both have that clause. When Uro enters, you gain 3 life, draw a card, and then you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield.
Enters or attacks.
Oh, enters or attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
yeah, it's better than you thought.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually nuts. And then it escapes for green, green, blue, blue, and 5 other cards.
From your graveyard, yeah.
Yeah, so sort of a 3-drop that draws a card and ramps. Later in the game, it's a 4-mana 6/6 that has an insane attack trigger.
That also has an insane ETB, which are the requirements for just the most busted cards in Standard, basically.
Yeah.
Is that, the defining feature of a lot of playable creatures in mid-range decks are they have to have front-facing value.
yeah, this has a good ETB. It has synergy with other things. Like if you mill it, it's just a very good 4-drop. Yeah, does everything.
XL5 probably isn't that tough. You know,
Yeah.
XL5 others. On turn 4, it might be tough. But again, we just play Timurit Calls the Dead. And
Yeah, if you're playing green and blue and you're probably playing Cavalier Thorns, I think this card's great in Cavalier Thorns decks.
I mean, even, Timurit Calls the Dead just auto-enables this, doesn't it?
Yep.
If it's in your
Yeah,
graveyard.
playing Sultai.
If your mana can cast it. If your mana can cast it on turn 4, you know, you're good.
Yeah.
You can just put this thing into play on turn 4.
Yeah.
Worst come to worst, you got to take some time, but it's a card that also buys time.
I think this card also has some potential in Pioneer and like you know, the Sultai
Mid-range decks.
no, the Sultai Dredgeless Dredge deck, the Ken that you were playing with
Oh.
Elder Deep Fiend.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think just playing this in that deck, like I sent Hemsley a list the other day that I was brewing up. That's basically, you know, just the Dredgeless Dredge deck, but you're instead of playing Gourmet Gangler, Scrap Heap Scrounger, you're playing Elder Deep Fiends and Uro. And I don't know, I think it slots pretty well into a deck like that because you're going to escape it pretty easily.
Yeah, very easily. You're milling yourself so much anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, card's insane. Just, you know, I got a deck idea. Hear me out. It's called Blue-Green Mythics they printed in the last year. You know? Well, they banned Oko, but, you know.
Yeah, the rest of them are nuts.
Hydroid, Krasis, Oko. Like, this Blue-Green has been on a rampage.
Yeah.
And this is just another.
Hydroid Krasis, Uro will play Nissa. It's an honorary mythic.
Yeah, get the goose in there. You know,
Yeah,
speed
yeah.
these guys up.
Sure. Cavalier Thorns.
Yeah.
We have a deck. There we go.
Yeah, done.
Easy.
Done.
Yeah.
Easy.
The other one, Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. Freaky looking thing with too many teeth.
Man, all the teeth in this set just getting you rankled, huh?
Well, yeah, I don't know what it is, but anyway, Kroxa on the face costs 2, black and a red. Sack it when it enters the battlefield unless it escaped. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then, if they didn't discard a non-land card, they lose 3 life. So if they discarded a land or if they discarded nothing, they lose 3. And then it escapes for black, black, red, red, and 5 other cards, also a 6/6.
This card's great.
Yeah.
It's super aggressively costed. It's really powerful. I think it's probably worse than Uro, but I'm biased because I like drawing cards and turtling.
I think it's worse than Uro just because it's not green blue. Right?
Yeah, I also
Black,
think
red.
just having someone discard a card isn't as good as drawing a card, gaining 3, and putting a land into play.
Yeah, exactly.
It is worded so that like you're kind of getting something for it. Like if it trades for a non-real card, they're taking 3, so it's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of like
2 mana, deal 3. Like in aggressive decks, this is very good.
yeah.
Like in black-red aggressive decks, this card is going to close out games.
Yeah, like
It's
the-
also massive.
The black red Mayhem Devil deck would probably play a couple copies of this, right? Like
Because
have
it counts as sacrifice too, like by
Yeah.
just playing it.
Yeah, and you could also, if you have a Witch's Oven, you could make 2 foods in response to the sacrifice trigger. With
Mm-hmm.
you just cast it for 2.
Oh, that's true.
So I think a lot of and also you're happy to just play your 4 Fabled Passage. They help
Yeah.
it. Fabled Passage is just looking great in standard right now. You know, helps you enable all your escape,
Yeah,
right? So,
The front side of these will trigger your Midnight Reaper.
I didn't even think about that.
yeah,
Yes, you draw a card as well.
Wait, that's nuts.
yeah. Like I think this actually just slots perfectly into the black red Mayhem
Yeah.
Devil Priest of the Forgotten Gods.
Yeah.
Sacrifice deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very good in it. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, both the Titans cool though. They're like I like how they harken back to this the older Titans, you know, Prime Time and all that. You know, Inferno Titan, but instead of just copying that same style, they changed it in a really unique way that was fitting to the Theros world. I thought the design on this set, as far as the mechanics go, are pretty cool. Like
Yeah,
they did a pretty
I
cool
really
job.
like the design on these 2 Titans.
I
I think
am-
they're awesome.
Yeah, it makes me excited in that there's not anything like Oko. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, like as powerful as these Titans are, they're not like unbelievably powerful. They have some downsides. Like they are sort of just, unless you do like extra work, sorceries on the front side.
Yeah.
And these are sorceries that probably aren't good enough just by themselves on turn 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do work to make them good. I like that. I don't know. Unless we miss something though, I don't think there's anything in this set that terrifies me. Whereas before, when I remember reviewing this, last set, I remember like all of us vocally groaning about the 3-mana planeswalkers and wishing they would stop.
Yeah.
Calling that they would be a problem.
No 3-mana planeswalkers in this set.
Like we knew it was going to be a
gods.
disaster. Yeah, the planeswalkers, they went back with Ashiok on this set. They went back to the safe 5-mana +1, get some value, minus, get rid of something.
Yeah. The design on the new Elspeth is interesting.
Yeah, it's like pretty obviously like, it's okay. Like if it's good, it's good. If it's not, but I don't think this card's ever going to dominate.
Yeah, and then I think the Calyx, the green-white, like Enchantress Planeswalker is just a good Planeswalker design.
Just build around.
Yeah.
I like build arounds.
I like it when they're like that.
Yeah, because even the most powerful build around, which is Sorin,
Yeah.
right? Like 3-mana Vampire Sorin is like the most powerful build around Planeswalker ever printed, probably.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine that it's as powerful as it's actually busted. Like it's so incredibly powerful.
But in one deck, you don't play against it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's a build around, it's okay.
Yeah.
The problem is when Oko is like, just every deck.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
You just put green and blue lands in your deck. Easy.
Yeah, see, and that's the problem. You can't have cards that are so good that they ignore the color pie,
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, yeah, just take a look at Modern right now. It's a dumpster fire.
it's somehow Modern just keeps getting worse. I don't know how they do it. Because there used to be a time, longtime listeners of the show will remember this. There were always times where the whole DWC squad would trick themselves into going to play weekly Moderns or like going to play Modern tournaments. Like, you know what? Like we'd be looking at tournament results, or like watching an SCG. We're like, man, Modern looks pretty sick actually. Like we should go play, and we'd go play, and then like a week later, it'd be like, man, why did we go play Modern? Like,
thinking?
what were we thinking? Man, this format is a disaster. Or maybe it would be fun for a week or two, but then every single person started playing, X whatever deck, and it was like, oh yeah, right. Like I forgot that existed. This is horrible. Cam swore off just playing Modern. Period. Like you just can't even get him to do it anymore.
Yeah, why?
Like Stelly and I are still like, we'll still trick ourselves into
I
it.
still own Modern cards.
Yeah, me too. I'll still trick myself into it all the time. I mean, Cam owns Modern cards. He just won't play them.
Yeah.
He saves them for Legacy.
I traded for a bunch recently. Like I have prime times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, MTG Finance.
But I don't even know if you can have fun with that card.
No, you can't. No, you just get a mop and a bucket.
Depends what you define as fun, though.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Speaking of fun, we had some honorable mentions as well
We did, yeah.
to go through, which some of these cards are probably even more likely to see. Like, I think the Lion is going to see way more play than Nidir Kraken. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Bronze line, yeah.
It's just not as
Maybe
interesting.
Nidir Kraken shouldn't be on our list, but Bronze, I don't know. Like, it's just more interesting. Yeah, Bronze Line's just obviously so good. Also,
Yeah.
the only downside's in green-white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it wasn't green-white, like if it was green-blue, like, wow, this is busted. What were they thinking? Or even green-black. If it was green-black, oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be.
I'd be like, wow, the green-black
control.
adventure decks might actually be the best decks in the format.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bronze Hide Lion is it's a white and a green, so 2-mana 3/3. And for a white and a green, it gains indestructible till end of turn. The cool part about this card, though, I mean, you're still just attacking and blocking. It's still just a combat card. Is whenever Bronze-Hide Lion dies, return it to the battlefield. It's an aura enchantment with enchant creature you control, and then enchant creature has the same ability that Bronze-Hide Lion does.
Yeah. So
Which is-
that's really cool that, it dies and comes back as an aura. That's
Yeah.
sweet. You
Well-
were talking about its possibility with enigmatic incarnation.
Yeah, because you can sack the aura side of it.
Yeah.
Like when Bronze-Hide Lion dies and you put the enchantment, if you know you're not going to spend mana during their turn, right?
Yeah.
And you want to go tutor another 3-drop, you just sack the aura part of it. And so you get a lot of value out of a Bronze-Hide Lion if you're sacking the aura part to enigmatic incarnation, which is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that'll happen, seriously in standard. But this card will see play if there is a green-white aggressive deck, because 2-mana 3/3s, that's a big
Yeah.
kitty.
That's
what's also
a lot of time
interesting?
dollars.
And it's a cat.
Yeah.
Somebody's making a Pioneer cat deck right now. As we speak, there
Oh,
is
yeah.
some guy just heavy breathing, just making a cat deck, man. Like, I guarantee you, can't blame cats rule, but
There's some other interesting uses. Like you mentioned sacking it to enigmatic insight, but like if this is an aura on another creature, you can pick it up with your Teferi, draw a card, replay the lion.
oh yeah, you could bounce your Bronze-Hide Line to draw a card and then
And just play it as a
recast it a
creature, yeah.
creature. Yeah, that's actually with Teferi 3.
All right.
Wow, that
I'm
is
listening.
that is an actually 200 IQ giga brain play. Holy smokes. I didn't even think about that. That's nuts.
You just never lose your lions.
Yeah, no, like they're out for we just play Bant Beatdown with
Yeah.
the fairies.
Exactly. It gets rid of blockers. That's a beatdown effect.
Yeah, exactly. And they can't counter our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, with like some dumb, what is it? Ashiok or Azure, the 4 mana. I bet that sees sideboard play. I mean, I don't have to bet. That's just
Yeah, it's like the Ixalan binding counterspell
Yeah.
that card's
enchantment.
mad cool.
Yeah.
I think this card's super cool as an honorable mention. It's going to see sideboard play for sure.
Yeah, I don't mind having a card like this around. It's
Love
good.
having a card like that. Yeah, actually, we had Bronzehide Lion that was part of our powerful animals honorable mention, which includes Ox of Agonos as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bunch of powerful
It's a
animals.
thick boy.
Yeah, I think Ox is cool. It seems like a junk mythic like Nyx Bloom Agent. I mean, Nyx Bloom Agent is going to do something weird somewhere, but
Nyx Bloom Ancient? Yeah. Dude, that's so much mana.
that's a lot of mana.
That's so much mana.
I remember when, do you remember in the first Theros? I mean, it's not really the same card, but it just made me think of it. Remember, what was the god that let you keep all your mana?
Crufix?
Crufix. Crufix, as Evan and I would call it to troll people. Yeah. Prophet of Crufix. It just sounds so much more. I don't know why pronouncing it like that cracks me up. But anyway, yeah, the Ox. Yeah. I think this card's pretty cool. I think it's pretty good. I don't know how good it is though, because I don't want to pay 5 mana for a 4/2. I'm like, man, that stinks. But like,
But if it's a 5 mana 4/2 that draws 3, because it's your last card.
because it's your last card, then I'm like maybe there's a chonk red deck in standard. You know,
Maybe.
there has been standards where big red was a good deck.
Yeah.
I mean, it was once every several years.
Yeah.
But there is, you know, there is a historic precedent that chonk red does well. And if that deck is real, then Ox is part of it, because I think this card's pretty good. Alternatively, we talked about the ways in which some black-red, there might be some black-red just graveyard sort of recursion synergy decks, and Ox fits in there pretty well.
Yeah, I mean,
Woe Strider helps you sack things to fill. That's another card that was.
Yeah, Woe Strider I really like. Like, we haven't had a free sack outlet in a while, and it allows you to sack another creature for no cost and scry 1, which is on its face really good. It comes into play with an 0/1 goat for 3 mana.
That's
So
an
it enables
insane
itself.
deal.
And like Escape, 5 mana, 4 cards. I mean, Escape is a little expensive, but
It's a 5/4.
It comes in as a 5/4.
With a goat.
Yeah,
No, that card's really good. You could just play this card in a mid-range deck for value. Like you could just
I
play
think
this
this
card
card's like really good.
because for mid-range decks, this kind of does what you want, right? It can put the pressure on people, but it gives you 2 bodies. So it plays offense and defense. Like if you're just trying to play offense against control, you can just sack the goat to scry.
Yeah, like the goat can block something, scry, you're digging to more powerful cards.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a lot of potential here. And like maybe there even is some kind of black-red. I mean, you could play it in the black-red Mayhem Devil deck.
Yeah.
If you play Judith as well.
Yeah, because it's sacrifice.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
There's the new 2 mana Minotaur Shaman. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, it gets +2/+0. So maybe there's like combo kill possibilities too.
I used to pronounce everything in Theros wrong to troll people ever since that one guy pronounced it as scree at the pre-release. And he kept saying it and I kept saying scry back. This is where that came from.
Is that working?
Yeah. And he kept saying it and I couldn't get over it that he was just pronouncing it wrong. And I didn't want to like judge anyone for how they pronounce things because everybody screws that. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
But then me and Wiles kept calling cards like by the wrong names intentionally, like Crufix and like Evan and I do. And then, yeah, because it's Slaughter Priest of Mogus, right?
Yeah.
But I almost, in my head when I read it as Mogies because it's all I used to call it, you know? Back when Mogies Marauders, you remember that card?
Yeah.
Mogies Marauders.
But yeah, this is a 2 mana 2/2 in black-red. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and you can pay 2 mana, sack another creature or enchantment, and it gets first strike. So like there's possibilities to like sack a bunch of things, make this huge, deal a bunch of damage.
Yeah, just smash them. Yeah, this card could be huge. Yeah. I think Rise to Glory is also an interesting card, by the way. The 5 mana sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Return target aura card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Because of Enigmatic.
Yeah.
You can like get back something and an enchantment and go nuts with it. Like the fact that it gets both is pretty cool.
There's also some huge like enchant player auras in standard at the moment.
Yeah.
Captive Audience. Is there another? It might just be Captive Audience.
I think
in
it might
standard.
just be captive. I can't remember. And also on our powerful beasts or powerful animals. I forgot the hound.
Yeah.
Kanoros.
Hound of Athreos. Yeah,
Card's
just
obviously
the
very good.
Graph Digger's Cage on a 3-mana 3/3 Vigilance
3
Menace
keywords, yeah.
lifelink.
Yeah. This card's gonna see play.
Yeah.
I promise you that this card sees play.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few other cards I thought were cool, all around enigmatic as well, that I never my list was huge, man. Like you could play a one of that Arkan that whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you make a 2/2 Pegasus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you just play one, you tutor it, and then because you're all playing a ton of enchantments, you just start once you're in the clear, you can close the game up super fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, honorable mentions. I also think Terranika should get some honorable mentions. I think if there is a white weenie deck, that card's very good. That's the
Yeah, the 3-mana thing that turns things into 4/4 indestructibles.
Yep.
4/4
Yeah.
vigilance, sort of.
Terranika, Crow, and Veteran.
indestructible.
Oh, yeah, and indestructible. Wow.
Yeah. No, and it's indestructible. Yeah.
Untaps it too.
Yeah, it makes it a 4/4 indestructible, untaps it. And Terranika has vigilance. And Daxos is double white. This is double white, and Heliod is the 5th for the devotion.
Oh, wow.
So like Daxos, and then Daxos is its toughness equal to whatever, right?
Devotion,
Yeah.
white, yeah.
It was just below it. Is it power or toughness?
Toughness.
Yeah, toughness. So, if you go this into Terranika even, I mean, that's a 2-mana 2/4.
Yep.
That becomes a 4/4 when it attacks. Like, I think like Daxos into Terranika, is that how you pronounce her name? I have no idea. It's pretty powerful. Like that's a powerful start, man. If somebody just goes like on the play, Daxos into Terranika, you're like, oh, rats.
What else would it be if it wasn't
It's-
Terranika? Tyrannica?
Tyrannica, maybe? I don't know.
No.
Not really up with my pronunciations here. My Theros lore. But yeah, no, I think that card deserves a shout out. I think it's pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cool cards in this set. It's nice to see, a cool set coming out and nothing is kind of throwing off, warning flags or any alarms that Standard's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all
So-
seems pretty safe for Standard.
Yeah.
Limited wise, I'm curious how things are going to shape up. What I've noticed so far is that there's like nods towards the blue-red mechanic being casting a spell on your opponent's turn for benefits.
So I saw William Huey Jensen tweet the other day saying that Theros Limited was Dees.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a good limited set. Hopefully, arena bots can handle it.
Yeah.
No,
No,
they
it,
just get rid of the bots.
it
maybe.
should be good. I found in the past that the sets that have like enchantment removal, like prioritize you for holding removal in certain ways. And I kind of like those sets. I'm looking forward to it. We'll, of course, do a limited episode where we break down a lot of the archetypes. I'm going to play a ton of this format. I think it's cool. That it looks cool. I'm really excited because I think Standard's been pretty stale, pretty dry.
Agreed.
Pioneer's been great, though.
yeah. Speaking of all this, playing a lot of formats, if you missed it, I've committed to a stream schedule of once per week for every week for this entire year. I think you guys might jump in here or there.
Yeah,
whenever
when I
you have
can.
time.
Yeah.
But for the rest of this month, I'm going to be streaming every single Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. And
Played some mono black this week.
yeah, I've been played Pioneer on my first 2 streams. The next ones, I'm going to do a bunch of brewing with Pioneer because we're testing for the PT with Hemsley since he's qualified. And I'm going to go to the GP as well. I might throw some Standard in there as well. It's going to be fun. So be on the lookout for streams from us every Tuesday this month. And then going forward, it'll be once a week at least. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Guys, got anything else before we wrap this up?
No, it's good to be back, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it is good to be back.
Yeah, it's fun doing these.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining the club this week. Make sure, as always, you check out wizardtower.com for all your Magic single needs. If you want to check out streams from us, head on over to twitch.tv/disorganized wizards club. You can find us on Twitter at DWC Podcast 1, Facebook, the Disorganized Wizards Club Podcast, and Patreon, patreon.com/DWC Podcast. And however you listen to the show, whether it's Podbean, iTunes, any podcast app, leave a review, rate the podcast, share it with your friends. Everything helps keep this thing growing and bringing to listeners. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Later.